So for an industry that's worth about $112 billion, it employs about 645,000 people. $250 million doesn't seem like a lot of money. So why leave it there?
So this $250 million in funding will comprise a mix of grants, $75 million in grants, $90 million in loans, focused on new productions, new shows, new events, helping them get started. There's also $35 million for systemically significant Commonwealth-funded arts organisations and $50 million for film and television to be able to restart production to overcome a problem with a lack of insurance at the moment. Now, this comes on top of regular funding of around $750 million a year for the sector, but also over the last couple of months, what's been going into the arts sector has been close to $100 million a month, combination of JobKeeper, JobSeeker, cash flow support. What we're now focused on, though, is how we get activity going again. We want to get shows happening again, obviously consistent with the public health advice, because that means jobs. It means jobs for backstage crew, for front of house, box office, ushers, security guards, also jobs in tourism and in hospitality, because when people go to a show, they often travel, they're often going to a restaurant for a meal or to a bar for a drink. So it's all about getting Australia's performers able to do what they do, the work they do that Australians love so much, getting jobs going. And it takes time to get shows going. It's also about an injection of confidence into the sector so that promoters, arts companies will take the risk on investing in new shows because they know they've got a chance of getting some support here from the federal government.
Well, you did mention JobKeeper then. The problem being that so many people in the arts and entertainment industries are on short-term contracts. It's less than 12 months, so they don't qualify for JobKeeper. So how does this help them?
Well, the facts are that in the creative and performing arts sub-segment, about 40,000 people, as the Australian Bureau of Statistics finds, of those in May, about 25,000 were actually on JobKeeper. So it's a bit of an urban myth, but the facts are that JobKeeper is supporting the arts sector as it needs to, because the sector's been hit so hard. Venues closed, performances cancelled, artists having their gigs cancelled, and in turn that means a lot of jobs and it means a lot of economic activity not happening. As we come out of COVID-19, what we need to do is get the protocols in place so that arts activity, creative activity, cultural activity, entertainment activity can recommence, and the Prime Minister will be taking to National Cabinet on Friday a proposal to do work there so we get some agreed protocols. We've already got protocols in place for museums and galleries. They're starting to reopen. We've got protocols for film and television, which our film school has led sector-wide so we can safely start those productions. And, of course, the $50 million we're announcing today will support that as well. But this is then about the funding to support investment in new shows, new events, new productions. It costs money to hire a venue, to get the crew, to start promoting it. We want to inject that, get that activity going.
OK, well, let's break this down to a specific example. Say you've got a theatre that can only be half full now because of the restrictions that are in place. So how will this package help them?
So, Peter, the point I'd make is, as we think over the next few months, what we want is for creators, for promoters, events producers to start working on the plans for later this year and next year. There's a lead time. It takes time to put things together and it takes money. And what we want this package to do is stimulate the planning and the preparation for entertainment businesses to have their shows ready to go as soon as we've got the protocols in place so that people can safely have performances going again. So we've got to get all the different parts of the puzzle here. OK, so, I mean, I guess my point being that for those theatres that are going to be opening up, you know, quite soon, I would have thought, if they're only half full, will there be, you know, extra grants to make up that shortfall in you know, box office numbers or box office cash? Very much the emphasis here is over the next year, getting activity back up towards normal levels and recognising that promoters, arts companies and so on, to survive over these past few months, they've been spending their reserves. So the capital they'd normally have to fund the next set of shows, productions, events, isn't there. That's why we're coming in to support that, so we can get towards activity happening again through these grants, through these loans, providing that capital to get the sector going again, so that Aussies can see the performers they love, and so that performers and creatives can do what they do, and all those other jobs in the sector also hang off that.
Is this the end of assistance, or is there more to come?
Well, what we're very focused on is rolling this out, developing the detailed guidelines, working across the sector. We think it's going to have a significant stimulatory catalytic effect. Let's work through that and stay focused on that and see how far we go with that. We think we're going to get a lot of Australians back to work. You know, as Guy Sebastian said to the Prime Minister last week in a roundtable we had on these issues, when he goes on tour, it's not just him. It's his band, it's his crew, then in the venues, it's the ushers, it's the front of house staff, it's the security guards. So it's a big multiplier effect. As we get the performers able to do their work, lots of other jobs created. And of course, great boost to the morale of all Australians as we can see our favourite performers back on the road again. That's what we want to see.
No doubt. And just finally, I mean, the theme park operators, particularly in Queensland, had voiced some concern yesterday, mentioning that they were being shut out of conversations and negotiations. Does this package apply to them?
Well, this package is about events, shows and so on.
So
certainly, if the theme park operators have shows or events that fit within the guidelines, absolutely they'll be welcome to apply. Wherever we're seeing entertainment activity happening, promoters, producers of those are welcome to apply for this fund.